Hello and welcome to my show Indus Cuisine, and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. We're back with a new episode from the heart of Pakistan. Today's recipe is very interesting and it is a part of every family in Pakistan. When you talk about the French people, you talk about how the French omelette rose to its glory. When you talk about Pakistan, you talk about today's recipe, which is called Anda Bhurji. It's a version of scrambled eggs, and it was, you could say, inspired by the Britishers when they came to Pakistan as traders and then subsequently became rulers of the nation. They introduced all the different types of eggs, for example, poached eggs and their runny omelettes and fried eggs. But then when Pakistanis saw this version of their own simple scrambled eggs where only black pepper and salt was used, they introduced their own spices and this recipe came into being. It's a very interesting recipe, and this recipe is a breakfast recipe in Pakistan. This recipe is usually taken with naan bread or roti. Roti is a flat bread which is made on a frying pan with some oil. So what are the ingredients for today's recipe? They're very easy, very interesting and easily available in the market. Today's recipe is being cooked for at least 5 people. I'm using around 8 eggs for this recipe, 3 tomatoes, some coriander, some green onions and some normal onions, which would be 2 in amount. You need some bay leaf, half a cup of oil. Yes, half a cup of oil. Why? Because we're using around 8 eggs. Then you need some red chili powder, turmeric powder. You need some dried red chili, the round ones, which are easily available in Pakistan. If you don't find these, you can get the bird-eye chilies, red one, which are easily available throughout the world. You need some cumin seeds, you need some garlic, ginger, salt, and just a piece of black cardamom. That's all what you need for today. So first what we'll do is we should start preparing all the other ingredients, and the eggs will go towards the end. So what do you need first? You need a frying pan and you need to bring it to heat. This comes here, increase the heat to full, and when the pan comes to heat, we'll add some oil. For this recipe, you need to remember that the onions need to be chopped. You don't have to slice them. So what I'll do is I'll keep the root on, I'll cut it from between, and as you can see, the root is holding the onion together, and I'll keep it on the side. Same goes for the other one. What we'll do is we'll make some cuts on the onion like this. I'll make cuts on all of them in a go so that we can do it quickly, nicely, and in an efficient way. Whenever you make cuts on the onion, it depends how fine do you want. If you just want a normal chopped onion, you can make around 4 to 5 cuts. If you want it really fine, then what you can do is you can make around 10 to 12 cuts. But when you make 10 to 12 cuts, you need to hold the onion very firmly. Why? Because it will start falling apart. So remember, small things take you a long way whenever you're making good food. But remember one thing, whenever you're making good food, always follow all the steps you read in a book, or if you're learning from our show, Indus Cuisine. Okay, so it's very easy. I'm keeping the root on the side because I do not want the root. If you use the root, what will happen is the flavor of the recipe will change because the root is bitter. You do not want that bitterness to come in your food. Once that bitterness comes in the food, what happens is it changes the whole texture, flavor, and obviously when the flavor changes, you don't get the recipe you are cooking for. The roots go here. The pan has come to heat. What I'll first do is I'll bring the pan to heat, and after that I'll add some oil, around half a cup of oil. The oil goes in, shake it, and I've added around a teaspoon of clarified butter in this, as you can see, mixed in the oil. Why? Because this will give a nice aroma to the whole recipe altogether. Okay, the oil has almost come to heat. What we'll do now is we shall just shift all the onions and we'll toss it in the pan. So I'll just use my knife to pick the onions up. You can hear the sizzling sound. It sounds very pleasant. And for this recipe, you will not make the onions dark brown. You shall keep them translucent, and then you shall move on. Why? Because I want the onions to be soft, and that's about it. I shall add around a quarter teaspoon of salt on the onions, mix them up, flip it, and just make sure that the onions touch the base of the pan. Why? Because once the onions touch the base of the pan, the heat shall be equally distributed, and when the heat is equally distributed, all the onions will cook properly and precisely with the texture and flavor you want. Reduce the heat, give it a lid for at least, you could say, 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, so till the time this is happening, what we'll do is the next step is we'll take the green onions. You can see the roots over here. What I'll do is I shall take the roots out. The green onion needs to be thoroughly washed, remember that. So at least, let's say 2.5 inches of this goes down. You don't use it. Bring it together like this. If you see any dead leaf, which I don't precisely over here, you can cut it. Okay, so what I'll do is I shall start finely chopping this as close as you can go. You also call this spring onions, green onions. There are multiple names for this. For example, when you are cooking a brinjal is also called an aubergine. So there are different names for different vegetables, and you can also find multiple names for the same vegetable. This is how English language has been made. And if you talk about Pakistan was a colony of the Britishers back in the day. So over here, whenever we speak English, it's always British English, not American English, and we learn multiple words for each recipe or each ingredient we're using. Or you could also say, apart from ingredients, there are other things that have multiple words also. Okay, this has come to a translucent point. I shall mix it up, and now I shall add the greens into this. The greens go in. Keep the pan on the side. And now just add another pinch of salt, just a pinch, not more. Mix it up, increase the heat to full. Spread out. Now just push it down. So now you have to let this cook for another 1.5 minutes on medium heat. You must remember that. So I'll reduce the heat to medium. Just pick up a tissue first, clean your hands, discard it on the side, and now continue. Okay, the next thing you need is the tomatoes. The tomatoes need to be fried in this. So remember one thing, that the tomatoes have to cook till they break down. And on the other side, you need green chilies also for this recipe, which I'll keep over here. They're over here on the side. First, take the eye of the tomato out. The knife is clean. It just has the spring onions on that. That is completely fine, which is going in one go. And everything needs to be washed thoroughly. So what I'll do is I'll wash the tomatoes again if you have any doubt, if they're a little dirty. Tomatoes need to be thoroughly washed. Remember, whenever you have any doubt, make sure you clear it out. It goes so simple. Okay, tomatoes need to be chopped, so I'll just cut it from between and finely slice it. Remember, if you slice it fine, then only you'll get the desired texture. If you do not slice it finely, the texture won't be perfect as you need it. Okay, this goes down. Remember, one more thing. If the tomatoes are towards the green side, do not use them. Why? Because the flavor of that tomato is different from a red tomato, and for this recipe specifically, you require the red ones. Why? Because the red ones are sweeter, and we need that sweet texture and taste that goes well with the eggs. Okay, this is done. 1.5 minutes has passed over here. As you can see, now we need to transfer all the tomatoes. The tomatoes go in. So as you see, I start adding a pinch of salt every time I add something. Why? Because that salt helps that ingredient which has been added towards the end to give out a nice flavor. This goes in. And now another pinch of salt goes on the tomatoes and start mixing it. Pick up a spatula, a wooden one preferably, and start pressing it down. This is done. Now mix it and keep the heat high and give it a lid and cook it for at least 2 minutes so that the tomatoes can break down. So now the tomatoes are cooking. So what we'll do next is we'll just take some ginger and I shall julienne it for the first half. So what we'll do is we'll make thin slices and then just cut it as close as you can. It must be really fine. Why? Because you do not want the thick texture and the thick flavor of the ginger to be going in every bite you're taking. So just cut it as you go, really thin like this. And if you think you cannot, what can you do next? You can just shred it and then add it. But remember, because it's my job to teach you texture, you need to do it properly. Okay. Take the lid off. As you can see, the tomatoes are splitting now. I shall just pick up the ginger, spread out and add it on top. Now what I'll do is I shall just check how nicely the tomatoes are getting soft. They are, which is a good news. Just mix them up. The ginger gets a chance to fry inside and just press it down back again. You want the spatula to go on this side. And now give it a lid and let it cook for 2 minutes till the time the tomatoes are really soft, and then I shall mash in front of you. I'll go for a short break, and once I come back from the break, I'll let you know how to complete this recipe. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching Indus Cuisine. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. During the break, I just waited for you, and as you can see, the tomatoes are nice and tender. And what's the sign of the tomatoes getting tender without touching them? You'll see the oil getting red. That means they're losing their moisture and they're losing their color in the oil, which is the flavor you want. Okay, now start mashing them. Why? Because once you add the other ingredients, you won't be able to mash them because the temperature of the pan will go down, and once the temperature goes down, the cooking of the recipe or the ingredients slows down. And you need to remember that timing is very important, procedure is very important, and steps are very important that you need to follow every time. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll bring it on the side in front of you like this and just mash it. If you keep your finger on the spoon like this, you'll get some more pressure and precision, and your pan won't go everywhere, right, left and center, and that is what you require when this recipe is being cooked. Okay, this is almost done. Okay, shake it up and mix it again. Okay, reduce the heat to low, spread it out again, and now we shall start adding some flavor to this. First, we shall add some garlic in this. We'll take around 4 cloves. I would like to finely slice these, so hold it close and slice it as close as you can. Do not take the root of the garlic. Why? Because it is tough and it won't give you the desired texture. Go slowly and gradually and you'll do great. When you cook, wonders usually happen when you cook with your heart. That's why we say that when our mother is cooking or our grandmother is cooking, we love what they do. It's important that you know how to cook also. That's one thing, because at times I remember I used to go to my friend's house and the mother used to think she was a great cook. No doubt she was, but there were some things that weren't as appealing as compared to the other ones. So you need to understand that at times you cannot do everything. If someone asks me, Basim, that what would you like to cook or what is your favorite recipe, I tell them my favorite recipe is something I cook usually and I repeat on cooking. Why? Because you can just not go blindly into a kitchen and be like, I can do anything. Why? Because we're human beings and human beings need practice. They need knowledge about everything they have around them, and for that matter also when it comes to food, because food and culinary is a very vast field, and for this you need to understand that you cannot be perfect in everything. Maybe I could do something good with Japanese food, Pakistani food, Italian food, American food and Peruvian food for that matter, but maybe I don't know what Bolivian food is about. So if I talk about Bolivian food, I don't know anything. Okay, so just mix it up, increase the heat, and as you can see, the mash is proper. Okay, so now what I need is I need the red chilies which are dried, and I need the black cardamom, which is 1 piece. It should add flavor to it, it should add aroma to it. So what I'll do is tilt the pan, submerge it. Why? Because the oil goes over here, and let the red chilies fry and the black cardamom fry. What will happen is they are dehydrated. Why? Because they are dry completely. When they get this nice oil, they should start getting plump, and when they get plump, the texture and the flavor will start seeping out. Do not break the red chilies. As you can see, they're getting nicely rehydrated. Okay, now the next part. Mix it up again. Reduce the heat to low. Why? Because I don't want to burn it. And now we shall add the other ingredients. Firstly, we'll add the cumin seeds. I'll add it over here. Then I'll add the turmeric powder, spread it out properly. And then the red chili powder shall go in. It's It's a nice, easy recipe. Follow it step by step and you'll go a long way. And it's something you can impress your guests by also on a nice Sunday brunch or a breakfast morning on Sunday, or when you have an off from work. Okay, just mix it up nicely. The yellow color of this recipe will come from the turmeric powder we're adding. It's natural, and you know that turmeric also has a lot of benefits on your health. And in Pakistan, people do believe that turmeric helps in healing from within, not the soul but your injuries, because the soul can only be healed by meditation or by happiness which comes from within. Okay, so finely chop the green chilies now. I'll keep the stem on the side. And now add this to the pan. This goes in the pan. You need to cook everything first. Why? Because once the egg goes in, which is a bit cold in temperature, everything will stop cooking and then it will start from zero, because the temperature of the pan will come down. Increase the heat again. You need to maintain the temperature of the pan. You don't have to make it really hot in one go. So now the green chilies are cooked properly. The next step is you need to add the bay leaf. I shall just add the bay leaf like this. Slide it down. What will happen when you slide it down? It will hit the pan and it will get this nice temperature. At times it takes a bit more of an effort. So just push it, and as you can see, it's frying now. That is the result you want for this recipe. I'll give it a lid so that the dehydrated things in this, for example, the cumin, the red chili, gets a chance to getting plump. Okay, now what you need is you need to finely chop the ginger. So I'll take this part of the ginger out, keep it on the side. I don't need it. I will just make these cuts like this, like the onion. I'll show it to you. Then cut it from between very slowly. And now finely chop it. Go as close as you can. On the side, I have finely chopped ginger over here. Again, we'll go with this close like the onion. Pass your knife through it once and finely chop it. This is done. The end part of the ginger shall go in the dustbin. Why? Because it's a bit thick. Transfer the ginger now. Pick it up. Here it goes. And now mix it up again. This is done. Now keep the lid off, reduce the heat to low, and now take the coriander, fresh coriander. Turn around, wrap it up like a cigar. The roots of the coriander will go in, remember that, and finely chop it as close as you can. Push it on the side. This part, pick it up, throw it in the dustbin. You don't need it. Keep an eye over here and just keep chopping till you get this fine texture. You might think it's finely chopped, but for this recipe you need it really, really fine and precise. So I'll keep mixing it and I'll keep chopping it. This is done. Clean your blade, pick it up and transfer it to the pan. This goes in. Now increase the heat to full and keep mixing it now. You want the greens which we've added right now to get really hot before you add the next ingredient. And this is done. Okay, so reduce the heat to low again. Bring the eggs over here. Remember, what I do is I always wash the eggs, dry them, and then I use them. Add the eggs to the pan. I'll take a fresh bowl and I'll start keeping the shells in them. So I'll keep the bowl over here and I shall just start cracking the eggs. The eggs go in and we shall be adding 6 eggs right now. And what will I do with the other 2 eggs? I'll let you know after I keep this for cooking. So just keep adding the eggs. If you can't break them with one hand, you can use 2 hands, it's completely fine. Pick this up. So as you can see, the eggs are in. I'll just keep this on the side and I shall start increasing the heat to full and mix it. You need to cook this on really high heat and you have to keep mixing it. So basically scrambling the eggs in this with the nice flavor that comes with the masala we made and the spices. Okay. If you do not mix it, what will happen is the eggs will start sticking. Now, when I'm done with this, I'll keep it on the side, and now I need the rubber spatula. Why? Because I want to clean the edges of the pan and now start mashing it. Keep mixing it like this and keep pressing it down. Remember that. Until the time you see the runny texture in it, you have to keep mixing it, and there will come a point that the oil will come out, and that is the time when you will know that the egg is properly cooked. It's a bit strenuous, but this is how you get the perfect texture. As you can see, now it's done. The end part is so that you don't burn it, reduce the heat, shift it over here, give it a lid, and because the pan is hot, let it cook. Now what I'll do is I'll dish it out in front of you, and then I'll show you the final look. As you can see, today's recipe is ready. It was very easy. I just fried 2 eggs sunny side up, and I kept it on the side. Why? Because at times you want that runny yolk that we basically just cut down, and as you can see, it's flowing on the side. I've cooked for at least 4 people. You can have it with naan bread, with normal white bread, brown bread, or also some pita bread. I hope you liked today's episode. I'll see you in another episode of India's Cuisine. Take care of yourself, lovely people. Bye-bye.